He
Hello.
says R&B album of the year. From what everybody's saying, it's SZA, and I still haven't gotten to it yet.
I thought it was Ari before I heard the SZA.
Mm,
My daughter was right. It's SZA.
mm.
Last year's R&B album of the year was hers.
Oh yeah, and shout out to her, man. We were watching that Beauty and the Beast 30th anniversary. She did a great job as Belle.
I told you I'd be watching hers Tiny Desk performance. That's my little late night vibe. I just throwing a little her on the Tiny Desk. That's my little vibe.
She's
Love
only
me some her.
25 and has been around this long and is at this quality, man. I can only imagine what she's gonna be making in 30.
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
She's the closest thing that I've seen to Prince.
How so? Guitar playing?
Um, ability, instrumentation, songwriting ability, ability to make hits consistently, ability to write for others.
And she started
Persona's
out very
kind of
young.
low key but kind of funky. Always wearing glasses, kind of shades herself off a little bit like he did early on.
Yeah.
She got some Prince in her, and I mean that in the most glowing and respectable type of way. Because
She's very
I
impressive.
don't. How often do you hear me compare people to Prince?
Never. She's
That's what I think
impressive.
of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like that. I mean, she's not there, but she's the only person from this era R&B wise that I would even put in his, spit his name out about.
She makes
Yeah.
real R&B. Now, I haven't heard this SZA album yet, but I will say this. When it comes to this era of R&B artists and people that really make me feel what R&B used to make me feel, and it's not like, kind of watered down with the hip hop thing, and I say that respectfully, it's her and Miguel and
Hmm.
some of the stuff that Chris does, but
Hmm.
Miguel and her, their R&B stuff is different, man.
It's different. No,
It's
I'm with you.
different.
I told you, her is in number one spot as far as R&B is concerned. In my opinion, she makes the best R&B music when she makes it, and when she writes it for you, and when she performs to it. I want you to understand, she almost already got a greatest hits of duets.
And when
Like her
everybody was
duet
having
list
this
is damn
king
near
of
greatest hits
R&B
worthy already.
conversation, I was saying, well, the current king of R&B, in my opinion, this was a couple years ago, it's Miguel. Sorry.
Oh, you want to know if somebody bought up Duke Falco bought up Amber Mark's album? I'm going to tell you something. I really
I like
like
Amber
Amber Mark.
Marks. I'm glad
I've been
somebody brought that
following
up.
Amber Mark since What If
Mm-hmm.
and all the work and like all that stuff. I love all the work. All the work is like one of my songs that's in my regular rotation. I did not love the direction that she went for some of this album. I didn't. I didn't love
I
all
haven't
of it.
heard her new album.
It was pretty good, but I was expecting more because I think she's a talent.
She's got a great voice.
She does.
She sold me on "Love Me Right" years ago, but yeah.
She sold me. One of my exes put me on the What If, and that made me go back in her catalog. She did redid Love Is Stronger Than Pride by Sade, and that
Mm-hmm.
got my attention. That she had the gumption and the wherewithal as a young lady to take on such a massive record that I think highly of. But the one that got me was All the Work off of her like Connexaco EP, I think it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's some dope R&B out there, and I'm sure that we could even do a whole show that was catered to like the new R&B artists that are out there. Like Lucky Day is dope, but the
Mhm.
thing about it is the only R&B that gets urban attention, whether that be radio or whether that be television or clubs or whatever, is the stuff that's infused in hip hop. And the ones
Mhm.
that are out there that are making just pure R&B, they kind of have to go out there and have people search for them almost. They really don't have a platform for the new R&B that's not hip hop centric. You know what I mean?
Cleo Soul, When I'm in Your Arms. Oh,
That's
that's
why
staying
when
in
Puff was
rotation.
out there talking about,
Stay in rotation.
who killed R&B, and remember Puff was out there talking about who killed R&B.
Um,
You killed R&B, and I say that respectfully. I think
yeah.
that the fusion of hip hop and R&B elevated hip hop into urban radio, and it diluted R&B. And one genre was able to capitalize from it, where the other one just I don't want to say fell off, but got diluted from it and had to match the energy of hip hop, and that's not what R&B is really, really about. I think they did a
Mm.
great job of mixing those worlds at Uptown and Heavy D, and but when Big came in here and Method Man, and it was like, Method Man made "I'll Be There for You" with Mary, or Big was making "One More Chance" and all this stuff. Yet R&B was being put in an unfair situation.
Well, actually, I mean, all Puff. I mean, people have to understand though. Puff didn't start that. Michael Bivins did.
No, he didn't start that,
Right.
but he
Let's not give
put.
him origin
No, what
credit
I would
because
say this. I mean, I think the people that started that can go all the way back to New Jack Swing and and what Teddy Riley was doing. But when they were doing it, R&B was still in the driver's seat. What Puff did, he gave hip hop the more edge over R&B via Biggie. And when Biggie comes through and changes that whole thing, it's like, oh, okay, well now the R&B person is the background, whereas the hip hop person was the background for the R&B person before that. When they were
no,
meshing it originally, the MC was the quote unquote feature. But when
no,
Big did it and Puff and Big did it, the MC hip hop was at the forefront and R&B was pushed to the back. You know what I mean?
no. See, that's what I mean. Is like now is Puff responsible for that, or is that Big's gargantuan, immense talent showing itself? Because Big is like Big when he starts doing that, it's like Heavy D meets Ice Cube, and nobody ever pulled that off before.
Puff's responsible for that because I think he gave Biggie the game to do that. Biggie's Jamaican,
Okay.
right? You know what I mean? Biggie's from the Caribbean. Those aren't his roots like that. I doubt that Big's mom was playing these records that he ended up getting on, in the house when he was growing up. That's Puff's background. You know what I'm saying? So,
I,
yes, I think without Puff coming along, as talented as Big is, he wouldn't have went in that direction. Puff allowed or gave Big the direction to tap into those levels of talent that he had, and that's the genius of Puff. I will say that. I think he made Big an MC that Big never would have been without him. Big would have always been great and been a dope MC, but he wouldn't have made those records if Puff didn't come along.
okay.
I don't think. MC with the super chat. He says Brent Phelps, Wasteland. Haven't heard that either. I love this R&B discussion.
Mhm.
DFW Hubie says, Herbie. Sorry, says you didn't listen to PJ Morton or Alex Isley's R&B. I like PJ Morton.
I was about to say, I like Alex Isley.
Yeah, I need to get on
Wait by
Alex
Alex
Isley.
Isley. That's in my rotation too. I play some Wait by Alex Isley. I love Alex Isley.
According to Hip Hop Man, we need a R&B show because that's a wide open thing with these R&B acts that are making some dope music. There's no platform that they get that light on. It's crazy.
I told you, like, yeah, whenever
Something
you
we
want to
should do
pull up
in
and
the
start
new year.
doing the R&B show, like we can start doing it like a short, like we did with the Wednesday show. We can just jump in for 30 minutes and give some R&B some love.
Mad Max to the super chat says Wasteland was great, but the features weren't good. Brent was fire though, and Alicia Keys, I love you, but you need to hang it up after the Wasteland feature you did. Don't get me started on that, man.
I'll say, please do not get Mike started on Alicia Keys. It is. People do not understand this. Y'all think that it's an Eminem thing? Oh, do not get this nigga started on Alicia Keys, please. There is like Facebook has almost had to like tell Mike to stop being disparaging to Alicia Keys. Okay,
Disparaging. She's just overrated. She might be the most overrated artist of all time, actually.
and here we go, and we're
Now
off.
I'll at least give Eminem this. Eminem's a lyrical technician and all that. I'll give him that, but she's not a great songwriter. She's not a great vocalist. Uh, you know, her songs really hadn't stood the test of time like that. Honestly, man, like musically, you want to talk about being musically relevant, like Boosie was saying, like last time she was musically relevant, what was that, like '06 maybe? That's being generous. Darren Harris with the super chat says, Soccer Dad, most underrated single this year.
I mean, I just didn't like some of her personal moves, but whatever.
Well, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I'm just saying, and she keeps being able to get these platforms and go out there, and it's so funny, man. Like, like Coop said, people follow me on Facebook and this and that, like over the years, and when she goes out there and does a national anthem, I know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised. But people will sit here and act like they're shocked that she sounds bad. I'm like, she sings out of tune. How do you play the piano and sing out of tune? Like the piano is the instrument that tunes everything. It does. For my band people out there,
Go
like
ahead, Brian. I'm
when
about to say, go ahead and give a
everybody,
little musical
yeah,
instrumentation lesson, please, Mike, because people
yeah,
don't understand.
when you're actually getting everybody in key, they use the piano to do that. How you a
Yes.
piano player
It's
and sing
when
out
you're
of tune?
vocally coaching somebody, you sit them down at the piano. And
Listen, I kept this to myself for years because I was like, maybe my ears are tripping. But I remember my man Ron was dating a young lady who was a songwriter. She was in Neo's camp. And we was all hanging out one day. We was going to some store or whatever, like a department store. And they were playing the Alicia Keys song. I forgot what it was. And she was like, how do they allow her to sing out of tune like that? I was like, for you two, I feel you. And then that's when I started expressing myself. But I thought it was just me at first. I was like, she's singing out of tune. Shit's crazy. I was like, 36 Chambers says, I've never heard this Alicia Keys slander, Mike.
I told y'all I've been listening to this forever.
I think she's
Let me
one.
ask you something real quick, since we're having a little R&B sidebar. Do you like the Diary of Alicia Keys? You don't find that to be a great piece
I
of
think
work?
it's the last good piece of work of hers. I actually had the album. I liked.
I think that album's great.
I wouldn't say great, but I think it's a good album. I think Songs in the Key of A Minor is a good album. Actually, my favorite album from her. I had that too back
It's
in the
not better
day.
than the Diary. Crucial Keys no, because the best writing and production that she ever got is on the Diary of Alicia Keys, in my opinion.
I mean, Kanye West made her best song, which is on there.
You Don't Know My Name is a
You Don't
classic.
Know My Name is her best song.
It's a classic, though.
Now, I
You
will say
that.
this. The first album, I think she stepped it up from a production standpoint and songwriting standpoint on the second album. But I think from beginning to end, the first album, flows and doesn't have like any skips. I think there's some average moments on the second album, but the highlights are bigger than the highlights on the first one.
I feel the opposite. I think the first one has moments but is inconsistent, and that the second one is more consistent piece of work. The Heartburn with Timbaland.
I didn't like Heartburn like that. But see, I liked what she was doing with like butterflies and stuff like that on the first album. And
did you like Diary? The song Diary?
I like Diary. I think that's one of her best songs too.
Okay, I think Diary might be the best song on the album.
I think that song and You Don't Know My Name are two of her best songs.
Me too. I agree with
that.
And
I will say this, Unbreakable, which I know was on like her Unplugged. I think that's one of her better songs too. But after that, man, it's like, man, we talking about stuff that's like 15 years old. Now after that, yeah, she fell off a cliff to me. I don't know.
I used to have an ex. When she used to get mad at me, she used to fucking play Samsonite, man. She is like, this your motherfucking ass.
They're saying in the chat, talk to him, Mike. Mo Better with the super chat says, Alex Isley's album is album of the year. I need to get on this Alex Isley.
Alex Isley's dope, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, I need to get on my R&B shit.
That's not Ron's, but the guitarist. That's his daughter.
Okay, gotcha.
So she's royalty already. Yeah, she loyalty and royalty already. Yeah.
Andre Shashir says, preach, Mike. She definitely is overrated. At Whitney Houston's wedding, she sounded like a rooster being choked. For real, for real. Y'all remember when she was at the inauguration? I think it was Obama's second election. And she was singing, what was it? It was the song she had out at the time. And she put Obama's name in it or something. It was horrible. Jesus. And again, I'm not saying it's being funny. It's like, as a person who, played an instrument, when I hear out of tune stuff, it's like nails on the chalkboard to me. And for a long time, I thought I was the only person hearing this. Now, on the first two albums, she sounds fine. But after she came back from Egypt or something, man, like, she's been singing out of tune. You remember she said she had an awakening or whatever? Like, she went to Egypt and stuff and came back. And it was like, ever since then.
I would like to thank you all for coming out tonight. This is Mike B from According to Him.
I don't want to get blackballed or banned from anything, but just giving my opinion.
Listening to this since we were in our early 20s. I've literally been listening to this for
Listen, I'm trying to go to brunches. It's nothing personal. I'm just giving my personal opinion. This is what my ears are hearing. Maybe my ears are wrong. So, anybody out there who might be giving invites to brunches and stuff, listen, it's nothing. Maybe my ears are off. It might be just me. Nicodemus with the super chat says, "You Don't Know My Name" is a classic. It sure is.
It is.
It's her best song, in my opinion. And you said the other one, Diary. I never was a big fan of Falling like that, but I love that album. You know what I'm saying?
I remember the first time I heard Falling. I remember where I was, who I was with.
Me too.
All that. Yep, it was 2:00 in the morning in Greensboro.
36 Chambers says, Mike says, I wouldn't say great. He's bugging. It's not great. DFW, excuse me, says, I feel the same way about John Legend, him and Alicia. You know what?
Hold on.
You know what? Don't get me started there either.
No. And now another word from our sponsor, Mike D, with the hateration in this dancery. Go ahead with John Legend, Mike. You might as well finish the job off. They done started. Y'all would pick the two people. I don't believe this shit. Go ahead, Mike.
I like John Legend's first album. I think that once again, the second album is a classic. After that, he's made music for Caucasian weddings.
That's not how you frame it when we're behind the scenes.
I mean, listen, at this point, man, I've never seen there's been two acts, and John's one of them, that have just totally changed course. I think Maroon 5 is another. Like, they're a whole different band. Like, Songs About Jane, if you got put on to Maroon 5 and Songs About Jane and you listen to Moves Like Jagger and all that, it's a whole different group. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen a black artist come in the game so soulful and damn near lose all their soul. And I say, I'm not trying to be funny, but you guys got to be real. Like, you don't hear no soul in John Legend's music now. And we always talk about the old Kanye. Fuck that. Give me the old John Legend, nigga. How about that? How does he escape that slander? We separate Kanye West as, I want the old Kanye and this and that. No, give me the old John Legend. This new John Legend, he's like a knockoff Michael Bublé or something. And I like Michael Bublé. I say that.
This has been great.
36 Chambers says, we need a show with Mike just going off on Eminem, Alicia Keys, and John Legend. Just the whole show of hating. Man, I ain't hating. Y'all know what I'm saying is true. Alicia Keys sings out of tune, and John Legend don't sing with no soul. It's what it is. Is that hating? It's the truth.
So they some soulless, non-singing, light-skinned ass niggas.
That's why when they did the verses, it was perfect. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not watching this one. No debate.
Hold on. Somebody brought up, Alicia did freak the Brooklyn Zoo shit. Girlfriend was actually my favorite song. Girlfriend and How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore. Obviously, I'm a Prince fan. Those were my two favorite songs on the first album.
I like her version of How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore.
Jermaine Dupri
did that, yeah.
I thought that was the best produced record on there. JD Strikes Again.
But you could tell that song was made early, you know what I mean? Early in her Columbia days, because it didn't really fit on the album per se, but it was too good for them to pass up. I think Girlfriend was one of those songs for the time they wanted to have out there just in case it did work. You know what I mean? And you couldn't just pass up a record like that. But when you listen to the whole album, it really doesn't fit on the album. But yeah, I mean, keep it real, guys. Did any of y'all watch the John Legend and Alicia Keys verses? Let's keep it real. Who won?
Can I be honest with you? I forgot they had one till you said something.
Yeah. They had their pianos back to back or something. I was like,
they did?
Yeah, it was something like that. No, I mean, guys, did y'all watch it? I mean, let's just be real. Mad Max with the super chat says, throw Beyonce in there too, then, because she's overrated. Now, we're not going to do that. Beyonce's not overrated. Beyonce is a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
We're already not invited to the brunch. I mean,
No, I'm just being honest here, and I'm not saying that to kiss ass. Beyonce's an incredible talent. Now, she doesn't make music for me specifically, but I can see the talent, and I'm not gonna deny the talent. Like her performance is crazy. Now, I might not be riding around listening to Beyonce's music because she doesn't make music for me,
this shit
but
hilarious.
the performer that she is, nah, man, she's something else. We got to get
Yeah.
out of here, man. 30,
Oh,
36 Chambers says, I'm
made my
going to
head
start
hurt, dude. That was
describing,
great.
36 Chambers said, I'm going to start describing John Legend as, to people, as a singer for Caucasian weddings. I'll never hear his music the same. And you can't say that about the first two albums, but everything else after that, man.
Ooh. Oh man.
I mean, you know, even on the Metro album, he's so predictable.
I knew
It's
it
like
just
if
had
you
to wait.
see a John Legend feature, you already know what you're gonna get. It's gonna like, whoa, it's like switch up your flow, man. And I love you, John. I really mean that. Switch it up sometimes, man. You know, Green Light was a switch up, and I liked Green Light. It was cool.
Green Light was really dope, and I would like to like to thank everybody that's actually here right now watching. It's not just Coop who be going off and snapping on people. Mike does quite the tirade role when he feels compelled to.
Aaliyah is better than
all you light skinned
Beyonce.
niggas out here that singing need to protect your neck. All you light skinned, piano playing, singing ass niggas.
I mean, I just don't understand how a piano player can sing out of tune so consistently. It's just wild to me.
You've made my head hurt, Mike. Like my head is down.
It's just wild to me, man. Like, hey, y'all gotta stop saying that Aaliyah is better than Beyonce. That's just not true. And rest in peace to Baby Girl.
I think the music is better, but I would.
It could be, but if we talking about overalls, I mean, y'all seen Coachella? Shit was crazy. Now I don't agree with Jigga Man saying it was Michael Jackson level, but you know, it's great. It's great. Let's get out of here, man. Before I say something.
Right.
KC1 with the super chat says, I'm sorry I grew up with Janet and Mariah. B is overrated. Let's be real. Now she's
if you're comparing her to Janet,
she's not Janet. Nah, I didn't say that.
She ain't Janet. Who is? I told you Janet could give Prince and Mike a run catalog wise.
Yeah,
like if she had to go up against her brother in a versus, I think the only person that would take more songs off Mike is Prince. You feel me?
Yeah.
His sister. Yeah, it's Janet. It's Miss Jackson.
I mean, you look at that 4-album run, I think only Stevie compares to that Control, Rhythm Nation, Janet, and Velvet Rope run. That run is crazy. I mean, you could ask 10 different people and they'll probably give you different answers of what, you know, in the order of that album run. I personally, right now, and I change all the time, I say Rhythm Nation at number 1. I might say Control, Velvet Rope, and Janet. And all of these are great albums. And it's crazy to even say that with the Janet album being 4th, because the Janet album's crazy. It got That's the Way Love Goes on. I love that album. If is on there.
I think
Velvet Rope might be 4th, but it's brilliant too.
Velvet Rope is 4th.
Yeah.
I would tell you this. Control, the songs on Control is very Thriller Purple Rain.
It is.
It's very Thriller Purple Rain, like how almost every song on there is a motherfucking banger.
You want me to go through Control real quick before we get out of here?
Please do, because I think
for the people at home, because we know there's only one song on Control that's not a hit. The album goes like this: Control, Nasty, What Have You Done For Me Lately, You Could Be Mine. That's the one that's not a hit, right? Pleasure Principle, When I Think of You. Oh, He Doesn't Know I'm Alive. That was the other one. Let's Wait a While.
That record.
Yeah,
He Doesn't Know I'm Alive.
It's a dope record. Yeah. Let's Wait a While. Funny How Time Flies. That's
Those
the
might be
album.
my two favorite Janet records. Let's Wait a While and Funny How I play Funny How Time Flies. How about this, Mike? I could pull up my YouTube music right now. Funny How Time Flies was my number one song that I streamed last year on YouTube Music.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
see,
So
Rhythm Nation, and this is why I got Rhythm Nation at number one for me. You got Rhythm Nation. You got this run right here. I Miss You Much. Love Will Never Do Without You. Living in the World Today. All Right, and Escapade. Jesus.
no,
And
hold
then
on, no,
Black
Mike,
Cat.
keep
We'll
going.
keep going. Black Cat, Lonely. Come back, baby, come back to me.
Now stop.
Jeez.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Work.
So when I'm saying she can give Mike and Prince some run, it's like, man, you gotta know your history. Me and
Yeah.
Mike just went through the first two albums. We just named about 15 classic songs, motherfucker.
Right.
Don't tell me that she can't give nobody no run. No, she got run, Mike. We ain't even touch the Janet album, just the Rhythm Nation and Control.
Yeah.
I would actually tell you that Control is still the best because it's very Purple Rain and Thriller like. It ain't every song on there damn near is classic.
I think the production was bumped
It's
up
dated.
and the subject matter was bumped up on Rhythm Nation. But
Like, I'm gonna tell, and this is what I mean about how it's classic. Like, you could play "What Have You Done for Me Lately" right now, and it still sounds funky.
great record.
It's a great record.
Pleasure Principle is my favorite song on there. It's a top 3 Janet song for me.
Funny How Time Flies was mine.
Love that record too.
That shit beautiful.
I think her best song to me is either. I think it's what Love Will Never Do Without You. Great song.
Now you know, Rhythm Nation had 7 songs peak in top 5 in the Billboard.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Well deserved.
And but you know, here's what I'll tell you is that the Janet album, even though it's probably third on that run, I think her most beautiful music is on that album.
Mm-hmm.
Like, That's the Way Love Goes. If, Again, The
Yeah.
Body That Loves You.
Yeah.
Anytime, Any Place. My Joint, Where Are You Now? Oh
Yep.
my God, that record is beautiful. Where Are You Now?
Beautiful records.
Beautiful records on the Janet album. You Want This with Light.
Love You
Throb.
Want This.
Remember Throb? Remember when she did Throb on Saturday Night Live, Mike? It's like this at the TV.
What I'll Do. I love that record. And Because of Love, like, dope record.
Because of Love, right,
I love
Mike?
Because of Love.
Like, just on the first 3 albums, she got enough to compete with anybody.
Mad Max to the super chat. We're gonna get out of here. He says, as long as we all know, Mary J from Yonkers is the GOAT. We love Mary.
She's not better than Janet, I'm sorry. But yeah,
No, she's not better than Janet.
She's not better than Janet.
But I think
I'm
she
like
would
that.
possibly beat Mariah in the verses.
She can beat Mariah. She can't beat Janet. Ain't nothing
No.
beat Janet. Ain't nobody beating Janet. Ain't no female walking around beating Janet and know nothing. Nothing.
That's why Sheila E over Beyonce. See, now y'all hating now.
Y'all,
All right,
y'all.
let's get out of
It's time
here.
to go. We out. Y'all trick.